First of all, I want to get started. I want to thank Ron Wellman. I want to thank my boss. And I don't think anybody in the country has a better athletic director than Wake Forest. And he was at nearly every practice this week, and he didn't suggest one play. It was really good. But very supportive. You would have never known by the way he was with me, with our coaches, with our team, that we just had such an embarrassing loss at Clemson. And, we're just so blessed to have a guy that doesn't panic at the helm, that stays the course and really pumped us up. I mean, really made us feel like everything's okay. And I think he showed some confidence in our staff that we'd find a way to get it done. And it just made this past week, after what we did down at Clemson, so much easier. So I got to start out by thanking Ron Wellman. And then, I want to just pat NC State on the back. I thought their kids played really, really hard. What a good football game today. How about questions?
If you could play all your games within in-state teams, probably win a national title.
I don't know about that, Michael. We just I don't know. I guess it's just a rivalry. Just your kids either played with those guys or against them in high school. A lot of them did, and then we play those guys every year. So it kind of gets to be something that is a rivalry. And I thought today I was a little bit concerned because of the new coaching staff. We didn't have a real good beat on them every down and distance like we'd like to have. But I thought our defensive staff did a heck of a job, kind of corralling a pretty explosive group. And then offensively, I thought Tanner and those guys stepped up today. And there was some electricity in the locker room before the game. I just had a sense that this was different. It was a different feel. And I felt even better at halftime. When we were gathering up at halftime to come back out, you could tell that the guys were on a mission. So just a really good feeling today. And nice to see the guys on both sides of the ball play 4 quarters.
Jim, describe that they're down on the 3rd and goal on the 3-yard line, and they sweep it, which I don't think they had done. And you guys stopped and you explain how you made that defensive call and the importance of that play.
Well, my guess is, Rob, that they probably felt like we were going to come with inside pressure. That's kind of your decision down in short yardage. You've almost got to roll the dice a little bit and try to decide if they're coming off the edge or inside. And I'm assuming they thought we would pressure them inside and they could get to the perimeter. And honestly, I don't know whether it was the call as much as just those kids rallying to the football. I mean, we had a lot of guys flying to the football on that play.
From that point on, they didn't do hardly anything. Your defensive line kind of took over control of the game. Can you explain the shift in momentum? What happened there?
Well, Dan, we talked about going into the game that, it's going to be hot today, hotter than it has been. It's been a little warm this week, but they talked about it possibly being as high as 90 at kickoff. So we didn't hide from it. We just said it's going to be hot out there today, guys, and you're going to have to reach down. And when that second half rolls around, you're going to have to find something. I was really worried. As much as they were throwing the football, we kept rushing the passer and pushing on those big guys up front. But I really never saw our defensive front wear out. And so it's really, I think, just the fact that our guys just kept chipping away and working hard. And, I thought we were flying around about as good in the fourth quarter as we did in the first quarter. And that's our kids, that's those guys.
Coach, it felt like there was a lot more execution out there today, especially on both sides of the ball. I mean, did you see that today?
I thought so. I thought I was disappointed defensively when they started their speedball stuff and we didn't react very well. We ended up keeping them out and maybe kick a field goal, but that was a little disappointing. We just got a real good momentum boost with a touchdown, and then they go right down in about 2 seconds, and they're down in the red zone. But I thought offensively, especially, our offensive staff did a really nice job in the throw game and kind of mixing draws, knowing we're going to get pressure out of those guys. I thought NC State tightened up on that stuff in the second half as far as the draws and the run game inside. But Tanner, except for he had a couple throws that were off. I was disappointed to pick because I thought we had Camp wide open in the middle of the field, and I'm sure he'd like to have that one back. But all in all, I thought The Tanner Price came out and led the offense, and we had an offensive group that had some energy today. It's the first really good feeling I've had about our O-line, our receivers. That whole group of guys wanted to come out and prove they could play football.
Going back to that hurry of offense that they had, you called the timeout, your second timeout of the second half or whatever. How key was that because you guys ended up coming out of the end zone on that drive?
Yeah, I'm not real happy anytime we waste timeouts, and Brian Knorr knows that. Our defensive staff knows that we don't want to waste timeouts. So whenever they tell me they need one, we just do it because I know they know how important it is late in the game to have all your timeouts. So if they felt like they needed to burn one, so it was totally Brian's decision, and I think we were a little flustered, and I think it gave us a chance to settle down and play good football.
How did that, you guys went like 30 seconds before halftime. How did that kind of change things for you going into halftime?
Well, I thought it was huge. I really, felt like, we had a great situation, going at halftime with a lead, and then they score and kind of just took the wind out of our sails. And, we really thought about just killing the clock, and one of our fears was we turned the ball over backed up. And, I just told Tommy and Lobo, do what you want to do. I was going to blame them if it didn't work out. I kind of told them to do what they wanted to do, and so obviously it turned out fantastic for us.
Coach, another pivotal juncture in the game was when I guess Chad got robbed and made a difference between a one-score game and a two-score game. Just tell me how significant that was to you.
Yeah, I was disappointed really in our kicking game today. I didn't think we punted the ball very well. I didn't think we kicked it very well, especially a couple kickoffs. But all in all, there was probably some balance there, but that was big. There's no question that was a big moment in the game for us to get, because we were going to be content with the field goal, and when you get another chance and you get it in the end zone, it's pretty good stuff.
As you're coming down the stretch, KJ got the interception that allowed you to run the clock and to kind of wind that thing down and put it more in a comfortable position for you with a two-score game plus there.
Yeah.
So what's KJ giving you this year? Because he seems to be everything that you thought he was coming in and continue to be that today.
Yeah, he's a really good player. He's got great instincts, and we needed to turn the ball over. We turned it over and given it to them, and we needed to balance that out and find a turnover. The only thing that disappointed me is he got caught on offensive lineman. That was a little, and I reminded him of that coming in the locker room after the game. But that was a huge play. And then I was disappointed offensively. We had a check, a run pass check. We threw the pass and ended up getting out of bounds. Sherm got knocked out of bounds, and that stopped the clock. And that's really disappointing. And then, and then we threw an incomplete pass, and we were trying to just throw a possession pass to Camp, and threw it in the dirt. And so we had 2 snaps out of those 3. We didn't burn a second off the clock. So that was disappointing. But I really felt like, when KJ intercepted that pass, I just felt like that lifted everybody up. Because I'm thinking, they get down there and score, and here comes the onside kick stuff and all that crazy stuff. So it was great to see KJ come up with a big play, and that's what we expect out of those guys.
And he's been that way all year pretty much for you, hasn't he?
He's been there, yeah. He's had a couple plays we'd like to have back at Clemson, but of all the guys at Clemson, if you said who'd you think played okay, you'd say KJ.
Well, you made it back to Clemson, Jim.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing it a while, Dan, and we didn't push the panic, but what we did as coaches is just challenge our kids. They were embarrassed, and you put your head in the sand and hide from it, but we just needed to play. We've not had one football game this year that I felt good about. And of course, I felt great with the win over PC. I felt great with the win over Army. I always feel great with wins. But none of it felt good to me. It didn't feel like Deeks. It didn't feel like, I told the kids, we got a reputation for playing deep ball, and that means full speed and smart. And we just haven't had the electricity. We haven't had the spark. And today I felt it coming out. You don't ever know what you're going to get. But when we came out of the locker room today, I sensed that there was something pretty cool going on, and then especially at halftime. And so I can't say enough about our players. I got to pat the coaches on the back because I thought they got that out of the players. But our guys could have laid down really easily today, and I think that's a pretty talented. We watched them go toe-to-toe with Clemson a couple weeks ago, and so we beat a good football team today.
Well, on that long pass to Spencer Bishop, that's what I have, he's kind of rumbling down there. Were you doing a big stroke on that?
No. He works hard enough. That's one of those guys. He works hard all the time. He's like a mine mule. Out of practice, he always comes off wringing wet after every practice. So I think I know what he wanted to do. He wanted to get in the end zone with it. I saw a little extra burst of energy, when he saw how open he was. And so then of course, as a coach, all you're worried about is take care of the football. You see so many of those balls get stripped on that stuff. So. But what a big play for him. It's nice. And we've talked about that. I think we talked about it in the press luncheon Tuesday that we need to try to work the ball to the tight end more because he's a really good receiver. And I think Tommy and Lobo picked a nice time to do it.
John, it turned out to be that Michael Campanaro had 12 catches for 153 yards. We haven't talked about him.
Yeah. Well, the cool one was the corner of the end zone. That catch was, I thought Tanner put it right on the money, but that catch to reach up above his head right on the sideline and go up and snag that like he did was I haven't seen any better. And what he gave us today was, I didn't know how much we'd get out of camp today because people are saying don't let that guy have the football. So I thought Tommy Elrod, who coordinates the pass game, I thought he and Taylor Stubblefield did some good things. But I really went into the game thinking we were going to have to go away from camp a little bit and find other guys. But as it turned out, we still found him a little bit.
Ragland came out and played like a house fire in that first couple series, and then he had to come off. He dinged up?
Yeah, he twisted his knee a little bit, trying to get off one of those guys. I think when he got tackled, he twisted his knee a little bit. And was able to play in the second half. I don't know, how he'll be on Monday, but the nice thing is we've got an open date, and if Sherman will continue to do the things he needs to do during the week, he obviously has a lot of talent. He's a guy that could really do some good things for us, and we need that right now. We really haven't, Stan Cotton pointed out last week, he pulled out our stats on his flip chart, and I don't think Brandon and Matt James have they're not even on the charts as far as reception. So without those guys, it's really important. I thought it was nice to see Tyree Harris, catch a ball and do something with it today, the true freshman. And so it'd be nice if we could eventually get Matt James and Brandon Terry back in the mix. But if Sherman Ragland, if third would come on, that would I know that'd put a smile on Tanner's face.
Coach, how good is it feel to get a win like this over your in-state rival going into a bye week, especially with Maryland coming in? They had a bad day today, but they came in this weekend looking pretty good.
Yeah, it just, JB, I talked to players, and I think you and I have talked, but there's just nobody easy on the schedule. Everybody's good. Everybody's really good. NC State's really good. Maryland's really, really good. And so you just got to get used to it. I think the bar's raised a little bit with our guys because after we went down to Clemson, you come back and you feel like, hey, how are we going to get it back together? But we didn't hide it from the kids. NC State almost beat Clemson, and so everybody's good. Everybody that you play every week's good. And that's the problem. You go out and then play pretty good football and not have anything to show for it. So our guys know that every week, this gives you a chance. It gives us a chance. If we'd have come out of this one 2-4 with an open date, we'd have had problems. There's no question about it. And we got great kids. I'm not talking about attitude and all that, but you talk about a depressed football team. If we hadn't gotten it done today, it would be hard to go through an open week at 2-4.
How do you manage your work?
We're going to do things a little bit differently, Dan. Typically what I like to do is give the guys the first of the week off, kind of let them recover, and then we usually work on the weekend to try to keep them in that routine. But this is fall break, and I really felt like that if I made my guys stay Friday and Saturday, it'd be like child abuse. They might actually turn me in, and especially after a win, it would really be like child abuse. So we're going to give the guys off Monday and actually, just lift a little bit with them, and then Tuesday, kind of through practice, maybe look at NC State on Tuesday. Our coaches are going out recruiting tomorrow, so we'll get out and recruit, and then we'll get the guys back together on Tuesday, watch the film, and have a light practice, and then try to have a couple pretty good work practices on Wednesday and Thursday, and then let those guys have a 3-day weekend. And hopefully come back focused and with a little energy, bouncing around, feeling good about themselves.